I went to see a play on Saturday night, and it was a lavish production, and I loved the design. But I didn't think it was such a well-told story, and so that's what I'm going to focus this 30th Talking Acting on. I'm going to focus it not only on story, but on theme. Because it wasn't until the end, the last 15 minutes of this 2 3/4 hour production, yeah, it was long and somewhat overwritten, but it wasn't until a lovely scene at the end, which was beautifully played by Matt Day and Nikki Shields, that I suddenly went, I see what this story is about. But until then, I'd been somewhat confused because I follow a fairly basic rule, a simple one based on life, as to why we tell stories. And my conviction is that we tell a story for a reason. And when we're telling a story to someone, we work at engaging them with the beginning of the story. So we engage them with the beginning, and we work our way towards the end to make our point. So all the things that we're including in the middle are working towards making that point that we finally want to land, which is the reason for telling the story. But I couldn't work out why I needed to watch this story on Saturday night. And I began to wonder why this might be, and I began to also wonder whether it was just my narrow view of things, because you see, in that scenario, there's only one reason for telling a story. But when I started to look around for other people's views about this play, I thought that what emerged was interesting because on one level, one of the reviewers just told the story. I don't know why they do that. But another reviewer who lauded the play, thought it was amazing, international standard and international standard performances, commented on the opening scene that it deftly established the play's central themes of child rearing and homemaking, of incubation and paternity, and of provenance and ownership. Now, my view is that they're all complicated and they're a lot. And that's probably where the source of the problem is that this one reviewer watching this production is seeing lots of things that it's about. But the danger is that if, when you're telling a story, you try to make a lot of points, you quite frequently end up not making any. So I went to check the director's notes that were online, and what I found was the director said that Sunday reminds us of the audacity to be a dreamer, the bravery required to imagine and forge the modern into being, to live and love and see in radically different ways. And again, I'm going, wow. Firstly, I'm not sure that I got that. But secondly, again, it's a long list. Whereas when I got to the final scene, I thought the theme of the whole thing was fairly simple. Whereas rather than being engaged at the beginning and carried through to an ending that moved me, which it did, it was a lovely ending, then I had just been sitting around waiting to get there. So a theme the idea of a theme is that it unites all the reasons for anything that's been done within the production. So once you've selected your theme, the point that you want the piece to make, then your actors can start creating characters that explore that context, the theme. And so they're going to explore it in ways that reveal how difficult it is to do, to achieve that outcome, or how easy it is to make mistakes, or how easy it is to misunderstand what the thing is that you're looking for. The scenes are all going to accumulate our understanding of the difficulty until we get to the end where it is resolved and the point is made. It is possible when you're looking at a script to see a whole lot of universal truths mentioned that are profound statements. But and they may well all have the potential to be a theme. But within the context of telling a story, you're not going to have all those things as themes. They're going to make their point because they're discussed along the way. But the point they're going to make is how those universal truths explore the final point, the one theme, the one statement that the production is going to make. And so don't be deceived by those. My suggestion to you is the next production that you are working on is that you should work out in discussion with the director, hopefully, but work out what the point of the story is. And then you can craft your character to support the making of that point. Obviously, if you're the protagonist, then the journey you take that character on is a significant exploration of it. But if you're a subsidiary character, then you're there to push the main character in the direction or distract them from it or make it harder, which is again focused on exploring the theme and the reason for telling the story. So this is a production that had a lovely end. It had a fabulous end. But it didn't have, in my view, a beginning and a middle that led me to it. But when I got there, it did have something to say that touched me and was relevant to my world and my life. And those are the sorts of stories you want to tell. I'll be talking acting. Same time next week. Cheers. If you have a question about this unique approach to acting process, you can email me, richard@rehearsalroom.com. Make a booking for a free 30-minute chat. Or download the ebook. It's free too.